Hello everyone, I'm Eric. Today I'm going to do an interview with my friend and he's going to ask me a question about tableau. So I will be answering the questions. Maybe we can start with the first question.
Okay, the first question goes by tell me more about yourself.
Interesting. So I'm Eric Chise, a student from Kepler, and now I'm working on data visualization as a module, and I think that's all.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
We can go to the next question. Which state, what are the types of data have you worked on within Tableau?
Okay, thank you. Firstly, a Tableau is a business intelligence tool. So it goes with data and combine those data to make a visual so that it could help business owners or business to make a certain decision. So most of the data I've been working in Tableau, they are string. String, those are the data mostly which are in words or text. And there is boring values like data that could be answering or asking questions that goes with true and false. So there are also numbers, and numbers they included in integers. Those are numbers that which doesn't have a decimal numbers, and there is a float. Those are number with decimal numbers. Those are the data I've been working in a Tableau. There are also geographical data which are related to the location, and there are also dates, months, or years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the good answer. The third question is what is a parameter in Tableau?
Okay, well, a parameter in Tableau is like a variable that could replace a certain number or a string or a certain value, and it could be used in a calculation. For instance, you can just set a name like a variable, and on that variable you can assign different numbers. And while you are making the calculation, instead of replacing or writing those numbers or set of numbers, you will just only write the variable you assigned to the you assigned those numbers. So that's a parameter in Tableau.
Okay, here we go. The fourth question goes like tell me something about measures and dimensions.
Great. So measures are type of field or type of data in a Tableau, but mostly which can be counted. For instance, like sales, quantity, just measures you can count one by one. So about dimension, those are qualitative. Like the measures are quantitative because you can count them, but dimension they are qualitative. For instance, like dates, like category, like a product, those are dimensions.
Okay. Another question that we have is what are continuous and discrete field types?
Great. Continuous, as the name specifies, something which is continuous. Those are the data which are continuous. So those are data that are infinite. You can't count all of them. They are just like they're continuing. While the discrete, those are individual data. Like they are countable. They are finite. You can count. You can just specify the specific number of them.
Okay, the other question that we have is what are the different types of join in Tableau?
Great. So in Tableau joining, you could be selecting a certain type of from them that could be easy for you. For instance, we have mostly four types of joins, like inner. When you use inner as a join method, it will give you the outcomes. It will give you the table that contain uh, the data, but which share in something in common. For instance, you do have two tables, and when you join them, the Tableau will only go for the data from one table and what they share from the second table. And the second one is left join. Left join, it will give you the the table that contain all data from the left side and the corresponding ones, the data they do share from the second table. So then from on the right join, it will give you all data from the table that is on the right side and they are corresponding in the left tables. So the fill outer that's will give you a table that contain all that doesn't specify or for looking data they share in common, it will give you every single value, every single data that contain in both tables.
Yes. The other question that I have for you is, when do we use joins versus brains in Tableau?
Well, actually, firstly, most of the time when you are importing or connecting a data source to the Tableau, it could have Excel workbook, for instance, let's say about Excel workbook that contain more sheets. So that time you will need to join all the tables that are in that data set. So when after you join those Tableau tables from data set, you could also need to import to add another data set. So that's where you will blend.
Okay. The other question that we have is that how would you structure a dashboard in Tableau?
Well. So a dashboard in a Tableau is like a collection of all sheets. While working in the Tableau, you could create more sheets according with that contain more visuals. So it will be somehow difficult for the end user or the audience to just go sheet by sheet. So by visualizing those sheets. So in order to help them, so that's why we do have a dashboard. It combines all sheets, the sheet from one, all sheets that contain all visuals, and then it display as a whole on one only sheet. So while you're creating a dashboard, there is something you should consider, like the audience. When you should specify the size of the dashboard according to what audience will use. Like for instance, you could have audience will be using a laptop. You should consider that, or a desktop, or a mobile phone. So you could you consider that, and then you specify the size of your dashboard. So that's mostly what you find in a dashboard. Like for instance, when you just drag the sheet and drop it into the dashboard, and then you drag all sheet you want to make in a certain dashboard. So then when you are done, when you are drag and dropping those sheets, you could use float or a time. Just the difference is very simple. While you are using a tie, you could only drag and the dashboard will automatically resize or set the size for your sheet. But when using float, it just increase the size of sheet manually. Thank you.
Okay, the last question that we have is, what are stories in Tableau?
Great. Stories is like a narration of a sequence. Like when you want to present, there's this audience who are who have zero knowledge or the skills about visualization. So in order to help them to identify and understand or get insight into the visual you created, you just have to add a caption that contains explanation. Like for instance, this is like a graph chart that we contain this one contain category and cells. So where you see cells in green color, you will know that the category with green color is making high sales. Whether you see a lead color, that means that that category is making low sales. So just a story is just narrating. It include explanation, include presentation to the visual you created it, or you can use sheets or a dashboard. What matters is that a story will tell a story to the audience. Whether an audience gets into your story, you will understand what you wanted to do and what you did. Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you for a wonderful interview.
Okay, thank you very much.